Alex, I'm delighted to be able to talk to you this morning. I just want to ask you a few questions because you're going to be starting up a new segment for us at Charlotte Street Partners. So what exactly are you going to be doing for us, Alex Massie?
Well, the idea, Harriet, is to offer a degree of sort of commentary for your audience that I hope will be helpful. I hope it'll be fun to write as well. And so on, looking at the current state of the world, in some ways, if that's not too grand a way of putting it, looking at some of the trends that are shaping society and the economy, not just in Scotland or the UK, but more generally around the world at the moment. Some of the tensions that are becoming apparent, perhaps highlighted by the nature of the current emergency through which we're living, the questions of nationhood, of international cooperation, the difference between open and closed politics, a whole range of things that I hope will be interesting and at times perhaps a little bit provocative, and be a way of looking at the world from a slightly fresher angle and hopefully sparking a degree of discussion.
So what are some of those trends that you anticipate covering?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we see the interplay between different layers of power. That's obviously very apparent in the United Kingdom at present, where, you know, we have a reimagining of what the UK is at the moment. I think 20 years ago, had there been a crisis of this sort, nobody would really have referred to it as a sort of four nations crisis, let alone suggest that there might be different approaches taken across the UK. Clearly, the UK's relationship with the European Union, or lack of relationship with the European Union, is going to be a key driving issue for everybody, but obviously particularly for business in the years to come. And then more generally internationally, and so, you know, what is the future of globalization? What are we going to be seeing a great retreat from the last 30 years of extraordinary openness in the global economy? And what kind of impact, if that happens, would that have? So that, you know, there are obviously many other issues that can come up, but those are some of the, if you like, the sort of key points that I think one will want to be addressing.
Okay, and just finally, before I let you go, what have you been learning during this crisis, either from a personal perspective or just your observations of the bigger picture?
I mean, it's very curious because at the moment, obviously, we've been having a public health emergency. This is going to be followed quite in short order by an economic emergency. And it seems to me that we may be in risk of being less prepared for that than we were even for the public health emergency in which we find ourselves. And yet, at the same time, you know, if you look at how people have responded to this crisis, you see, and it's capable to be struck by the extraordinary resourcefulness and resilience that people have. That's not just in terms of their personal lives, coping with privations of a sort that they never expected or anticipated to have to cope with, or, you know, how businesses are managing to operate, how society is managing to operate, even at a macro level, how the government has shown itself willing to improvise, to step in where required. And although many things seem very bleak at present, I think some of the spirit of that resilience and enterprise and improvisation and so on does offer some grounds for hope as we look to the future and the next phases of this problem.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for stopping by to chat to me this morning. So that'll be Alex Massie, Beyond the Street, every week with Charlotte Street Partners.